Hello, I'm Neil Nunes with the BBC News. Tens of thousands of supporters of Jair Bolsonaro have taken part in a rally in Sao Paulo, where the former Brazilian president denied plotting a coup to stay in power. Mr. Bolsonaro said he had been the victim of tireless political persecution since leaving office just over a year ago. Our correspondent Ione Wells was at that rally.
The former President Bolsonaro is under investigation into whether he incited thousands of his followers last year to storm the presidential palace, Supreme Court and Congress, calling for the election result to be overturned and for the military to take over. He used his speech today to call the allegations a conspiracy and to deny there was an attempted coup. He also called for an amnesty for all his supporters who were arrested and put in prison last year for vandalizing and looting the government buildings. Mr. Bolsonaro, however, was careful not to directly criticize the Supreme Court or Brazilian institutions, as anything suggesting incitement against them could land him in further trouble.
President Volodymyr Zelensky has said 31,000 Ukrainian soldiers have been killed in 2 years of war with Russia. Ukrainian officials rarely discuss casualty figures, but Mr. Zelensky said he wanted to counter inflated claims by Russia. Mr. Zelensky said Ukraine's chances of victory depended on continued support from the West. A former U.S. ambassador to NATO, Kurt Volker, told the BBC that Russia will not stop unless that happens.
Ending the war now is the best thing, but the only way to end the war is for Russia to stop its attacks and pull back. And Russia doesn't want to do that if they think they can continue to gain territory, so they continue to attack. So the way to stop the war and the way to prevent future wars is to give Ukraine the means to defend itself and to convince Russia that it cannot win.
The Afghan Journalist Center says the Taliban authorities in the southeastern Khost province have banned girls from making phone calls to radio and TV stations. And Barasanati Rajan explains.
The Afghan Journalists Organization said in a letter sent to media outlets, a local Taliban police chief had warned that some private radio stations were promoting moral corruption by broadcasting school lessons or social programs involving girls. The letter said that media officials would be summoned or prosecuted if they allowed girls to take part in the programs. Since seizing power in 2021, the de facto Afghan rulers have imposed several restrictions on women and girls, including refusing to allow the reopening of secondary schools for girls.
An armed attack on a Catholic church in Burkina Faso has left at least 15 people dead. Church leaders say gunmen opened fire on the congregation during Sunday Mass in the northern village of Esakan. World News from the BBC. Local authorities in Washington say a serving member of the military set himself on fire outside the Israeli embassy in the U.S. Capitol on Sunday. A spokeswoman for the U.S. Air Force confirmed that the incident involved an active duty airman, but declined to say whether the incident was a form of protest. Tuvalu's former Attorney General, Felici Teo, has been selected as Prime Minister of the Pacific Islands nation. Last month's general election was watched closely by Taiwan, China, the U.S., and Australia. It saw the former Prime Minister Casio Natano, who backed relations with Taipei, lose his seat. An international group of scientists has launched a second expedition to explore an underwater mountain chain that extends from mainland Chile to Easter Island. It comes days after they completed a mission that discovered more than 100 new species. Here's Leonardo Russia.
The first expedition used robots to map a vast seafloor area and document the new species. It was organized by the Schmidt Ocean Institute and led by scientists from Chile's Universidad Católica del Norte. They've published online pictures and videos of deep-sea corals, squat lobsters, and glass sponges that have never been seen before. The second mission aims to go even deeper, collecting samples from 4,000 meters below sea level. One of the scientists, Carlos Gaimer, told the BBC the aim is to ban fishing in the area and create a protected marine area along the Salas y Gomez Ridge.
Peter Morgan, the lead singer of the reggae band Morgan Heritage, has died. He was 46. A statement published by the band on social media said he had passed away on Sunday. Critics often describe them as one of the biggest families in reggae that have helped to popularize the genre to a more diverse fan base. BBC World News.